Subscribe to James the Sheriff Dixon, you motherfucker.
This is Fun Times with the Sheriff, season 6, episode 9. I got a friend of mine actually on, Dane Gussin. Want to say hello?
Hello, hello, hello.
So, you were just talking here. Which one did you want to go over first? You were mentioning
You can
awards.
we can talk about meeting you in 2014. I don't
Uh,
care.
oh yeah, the film. In Jay's. We're friends with Jay Reed too. He's been a guest on this podcast multiple times. The film career. For the winter. Yeah,
No, so I started. I mean, you want me to talk about how I started?
yeah. You can. Yeah.
Okay, I started, believe it or not, back in 1958 as a child, and I
Wow.
used my grandfather's camera. Then, when I was 13, for my bar mitzvah, I got my first real camera. And right after that, I set up a dark room in the basement, and I was shooting stuff like I don't want to talk. People laugh. I was shooting the Beatles, Dave Clark Five, groups like that. But a lot of it was off TV. Then after that, I started actually going to concerts and shooting them there. And I've always, just been interested in just shooting things, being a fly on the wall. And when I hurt my knee, I got into shooting nature. And basically, what I do now is I shoot a lot of nature documentaries and stuff like that.
And you shoot some
And I
beautiful stuff.
go, thank you.
Yeah. I
And
always see
I'm
your
working.
post on Facebook. I just wanted to add that.
No, that's okay. I'm doing a project now that, people are going to be shocked about. But in the 1970s, during the Vietnam War, there was a guy from Detroit who was held captive for 2,663 days by the name of Cordine McMurray. And it turns out he lived like about a mile and a half from my office in Detroit. So I wore a copper bracelet during the Vietnam War with his name on it. When he got released, I went to his house and I gave it to him.
Oh, wow.
40 years later, he called me. We're doing his story. The only problem is he died about 5 months ago. So I've got the video, the recordings, and he was held for 2,663 days as a POW in Vietnam. And he's from Detroit. No one even know he exists. So I'm doing that
That,
now, and I'm shooting some nature stuff. But I mean, the stuff I did that won awards were for PBS on the Holocaust. I did a series on a Nazi boxcar and a couple survivors. And I'll tell you a lesson I learned. I did 3 films, only 2 I could publish. And the reason is I was really stupid. At the end of the third one, I tried to get the guy to sign a waiver and he wouldn't sign it. So I said to him, make it however you want. He was a survivor and he wouldn't do it. And since then, he's died. So I've got the film. It's done, but we can't ever show it because he never signed a waiver. The moral
well,
of the story is always get the waiver signed before you do the project.
yeah, I've heard a bunch of stuff like that where like they can't do something until like somebody signs something, which is crazy.
Right. I mean, you don't want his family coming back and saying, well, we don't want this. Now we're going to sue you. It's like, we never could figure out why he wouldn't sign it. Because as you know, when you're shooting a film, you got we put in 30, 40 hours.
Oh yeah.
And at the very end, I'm like, make it how you want. But you don't know what goes on in people's minds. So, and he died about 2 years ago. So no one will ever see his story, which is sad. It's
Which
really sad.
I was gonna ask one of my questions was like what was one of your favorite things you've ever like photographed or filmed?
My favorite.
Yeah. I know it's a hard
Monkeys up
one.
in the rain. No, I'm just thinking monkeys up in the rainforest where you get up at 4:30 in the morning and you see them coming through the trees
Oh
and you
yeah.
shoot photos. I mean, and after a while, you get to recognize the faces of some of them. It's like bizarre. It's like families. I mean, you just.
Yeah.
But no, that was just different because I'd never been to Central America. I'd never been with monkeys up in the rainforest. The other stuff is just events for people. I mean, I've done like the Channel 56 auction for 10, 20 years. I mean, I've done walks for autism, cancer, Parkinson's disease. It's kind of like when people say, what's your favorite? It's kind of like asking, well, which is your favorite son?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
like them
yeah.
all for different reasons. I mean, I've shot a lot of different things. I mean, the one with Cordine McMurray I'm doing now is special because people don't even know he exists. And after he got out, he was shot twice. And after he
Oh
got
wow.
out, you know what he did? He
What?
reenlisted.
Wow.
He re-enlisted in the service. So when people talk about patriots and heroes, I think of Cordy McMurray, but no one even know this guy exists.
That's like third, fourth time you say that. It's like you should like shooting like unknown stories is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people I meet, people don't even know they exist. It's like when I came in and I started doing the thing for inclusion films, no one ever heard of inclusion films.
Oh, for the OCC program, yeah.
Yeah, the outreach. I mean, I told people I was doing it. They go, wow, what a great idea. I'm like, well, yeah, there's all kinds of great ideas, but they don't become anything unless someone actually does something with them.
Yep. And half the times
Like
they
when
start, and then I was gonna say half the times they start something falls through.
I love shooting nature because it's unpredictable. You have no idea what's going to happen next. You never do because you just don't know whether you're with wild. I'm with wild animals, like 3 days a week, and people go, "Aren't you scared?" I tell them I'm more scared of people.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem. I've
only
never had a real
reason,
problem.
and I've been told the only reason an animal will attack you if they feel threatened or whatever, if you're too close. That's
Right.
it.
Oh, I agree. Like if I'm out there, they'll walk right up to me. You've seen the video. I wear a GoPro on my chest so
Yeah.
people can see the animals coming. If I'm with someone, they just they look and they take off. They know my scent. They walk right up. They give me this, and then they either walk up or go about their business. But if I'm with someone, they're gone. They don't stick around. And that's because I've known them. They know your scent. I'll tell you something interesting you don't know. When you see a fawn with spots, you've seen a fawn, a baby deer with spots. Did you know they have no scent?
That's because they were just born, right?
They have no scent until the spots are gone.
Yeah.
And the mother stays away, in the perimeter to keep the predators away. Most people don't know that when they have spots, they don't give off a scent. If your dog goes outside and there's 3 deer and there's 2 fawns, they won't even go where the fawns were. They don't even know they were there.
Oh,
it's one of the things I learned. It's just, you learn things. No, but nature's real interesting. I've shot thousands of concerts, nature, people, famous people, unfamous people, it's like, it's all the same to me.
What's one of the favorite concerts you've ever shot?
Man, I've shot so many.
And I know small. I know you go. I know you go to small
the music awards, so it's like.
And I know you go to small.
I don't have I can't say I have a favorite because they're all different. Whether it's Bob Marley in the Grill Jamaica, or I'm watching some young group here that's new. Or friends of mine who are in a group who I've known for 30 years. You take them for granted because you're your friends, but you know what? Some of them are really good. Like I've done stuff with some of the guys in Bob Seger's group. And to me, they're just friends. It's not like, they can't go out to eat. Like I tell people all the time, it's kind of funny. The people I shoot photos of in video, they can't go out to eat. I can go out to eat because no one knows I exist. I'm like the fly on the wall. The world's my fishbowl. I can go out. My friends know what I do. You know what I do. I have had people walk up to me and talk to me, but it's very rare. Like when I had
where you're like noticed,
yeah, I had an exhibit at a couple galleries, and the funny because I have a lot of stuff on cable, which is nature, and I had a couple of young kids walk up to ask me if I was ever scared of a deer, if I've ever been bitten, and they were like probably 6 or 7 years old, and they just told me they loved watching my nature stuff on local cable, and to me, that's the cat's meow. I love when other people appreciate what you do.
And I was gonna say, like I told you, currently I'm going to OCC because my channel kicked off, and
good for
I'm
you.
Currently in the middle of my photography class right now, so I've always got my camera like ready with me.
Well, you want to go shoot, and you know how to reach me.
Yeah, yeah. I've been told by my teacher.
I'm serious. Like, you want to go shooting one weekend, you know how to reach me.
No, that'll probably be a good experience too. Yeah, I'll hit you up on that then.
Well, it's the only way you're going to learn. You don't learn photography on your own. I tell people all the time, you learn photography by making mistakes.
Oh, I've also.
That's why
same for film.
That's why God invented the delete button. And you and we can erase our mistakes. Like what we're doing now, it's live, man. You can't erase it. If we say something, it is what it is. With photos, you can edit, you can erase, you can you can't. I
Yeah,
tell people I can't make you skinnier, but I can make you taller.
yeah.
But no, the thing
Power
I love
of
about
editing.
photography is, yeah, I mean, I've shot a lot of stuff for government agencies I can't even discuss. So I mean, stuff like for government agencies where the security's been like unbelievable, Olympic style type events where you're dealing with athletes from all over the world. I was just shooting some stuff with kids from Ukraine,
Oh
athletes from
wow,
Ukraine. I couldn't believe they were even there.
with what's going on.
I
Yeah, that's
mean,
crazy. Yeah,
well, you see what's going on now, and I'm thinking to myself, how the heck did they get out of Ukraine to come here to play volleyball?
yeah.
They were the nicest kids in the world. But I'm shooting events and I'm looking up on the wall and I can see police marksmen.
Oh yeah,
When I'm shooting events now, it's totally different than 30, 40 years ago. The
I've heard that
security is
too.
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy how like, especially with the camera technology too, is completely
Yeah.
different than it was.
Well, I tell people all the time, I shoot a lot of parades. I don't much anymore because, like I tell the police, I'm not worried about down there. I'm worried about someone up there
Yo,
in
yeah,
a building or something.
people.
No,
Yeah.
I'm being serious. That's why I don't shoot parades and stuff anymore outdoors. There's too many
Oh, I
crazy
get it.
people out there.
Oh, I get
I
it. Yeah.
mean, and I tell the police that, and they tell me the same thing. I understand.
I don't
You
really
know,
go
I mean,
out much either. Like, I'm like you. I'd rather be out like in the forest, like you
right?
shooting the animals than like you'd rather you
Exactly. I'm
attack animals
safer.
than yeah,
I'm
yeah.
safer. They're not going to come at me with the automatic
AR,
weapon.
yeah,
And yeah, people are nuts. I don't keep track. I don't keep score. All I want to do is when I leave stuff, a legacy. All my video, all my photos, when I'm not here anymore, stays.
that's
I've had people,
that's what I'm
I've
trying to do
had
with my
people,
channel.
well, I'm telling you, I've had people say to me, seriously, don't you dare take my goddamn picture. And then when they die, I get a call from the family. Remember when my dad said, don't take my picture and you took it anyway? I go, yeah. Could we have copies of it? I go, sure. And I email it to him. It's like, I always think the pictures aren't for me.
Yeah,
They're for other people. Because when I'm
I,
dead, they stay.
I find it crazy that those are the ones that they wind up being the ones that want the picture. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like, it's always the little ones that are biggest pain in the rear. But you go with the flow. I've shot so many different types of things, like for the government, for groups, charity events. 99% of what I do right now is volunteer work. I don't do anything for money. Except
And
for
so,
you. I know you're paying me the big bucks. No, but if I can do something, like a group, whether it's Parkinson's disease, diabetes, autism, cancer, if I can photograph that and capture moments in time for later on, I'm happy. A month ago, I shot an event. Jaden Ivey plays for the Detroit Pistons. I don't know if you know who he is or not.
no.
His grandfather was a friend of mine. His grandfather played for the Detroit Lions. His name was James Hunter. He died at age 46 of a heart attack. So 2 weeks ago, they had a golf outing. This is the second one I've done. I donated photos. And they raised money to send 8 kids from Detroit to college.
Oh, great. Wow.
I mean, if you can't help other people, Jan, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So I went, I shot photos, and I just put them on the website. I get a thank you. That's all I want. I'm not, but 20, 30 years from now, people will walk up to me and, say, oh, I remember that. I had a guy walk up to me at the golf. You're going to crack up when I say this. I had a guy walk up to me, says, you know my son. You're friends with my son. I go, I am. And this guy's got to be 6'10". I'm figuring he's an ex-basketball player, Goes, oh, yeah, you know my son. I go, fine, what's your name? Because my name's Chris Webber Sr. You know who Chris Webber was?
Uh,
He played for Chris Webber is from Detroit. He's a really famous basketball player. I've never met his son in my life, but he figured since I shot photos of basketball, I knew his son. His son went to Country Day. He played for the Pistons. He played a long, long time. But the claim to fame, Is at U
Oh,
of M. He called
yeah.
a timeout when there were no more timeouts on the clock. But anyway, you just never know who you're going to run into. I mean, so here I am talking to the guy's father, and he thinks I know his son. His son's very famous. But I mean, I'd never met his son in my life. But people think because, you shoot photos of someone, you're buddies with them.
Yeah.
Which my best friend wrote for the Free Press 7 days a week. And I used to travel around with him. His name was Bob Talbert. He wrote from 1969 to 1999, 7 days a week in the Free Press.
Oh, that's
Can you
great.
imagine writing 7 days a week?
Every single day. Yeah.
Every day. And he would write about names and places, so people all over Michigan. And I would travel around and meet a lot of different people with him. From the guy who shot photos of the Pope for Time Magazine.
Oh, wow.
He's the same guy. Wait, I'm gonna tell you a funny story. He's the same guy that used the first digital camera ever used.
Well,
It was a
that's
black and 19 when the Pistons played the Lakers. It was a black and white Nikon. His name is Tony Spina. And again, he shot the photos of the Pope in his hand camera for Time Magazine. It was a 1 megapixel black and white Nikon, black and white, 1 megapixel, $25,000.
that's a lot of
Is that
yeah.
crazy? For
Yeah.
1 megapixel. I mean, and he's explaining to me raw and all this. I went out the next week and bought our Canon Rebel. So I've been shooting digital since it came out.
No, that's crazy hearing how long ago that was too. Yeah.
Think about that. It was 30 some 40 years ago. I'm like 1 megapixel black and white, 25K. And the color back then wasn't that good. I still had a dark room, and the color was better in the dark room. But as time went on, obviously the color got better.
Yeah. And now phones can shoot the same as a
Have
well,
you ever, have you
I
ever
would
heard? I'm going to
I
tell you
would
something blow you away. You ever heard of the name Ansel Adams?
I've heard of Ansel Adams, yeah.
Ansel Adams, one of the most famous photographers ever. All he shot was with a box camera. And over your right shoulder is a light that's glaring, by the way.
Oh,
But anyway,
that's the stun. I can't
okay, Ansel Adams, just so you know,
better.
wait, this is going to blow you away. Polaroid came out with the camera, right? Where you do the Polaroid. He
Yeah.
helped them develop the color.
Oh, wow.
He never shot color in his life. And how do I know that? One of my friends worked for the company he worked with them, and he sent me photos he shot with Polaroid with his name on them.
So it's
But
one of
if
the
you
first.
Google it, you find out Ansel Adams helped Polaroid with their color.
Oh, so it's one of the first. So you were able to see one of the first like colored photos.
Yes. I looked at the actual Polaroids. The color was terrible. It was all like, faded colors, not like we have now, but we're talking in the 1950s,
Yeah.
the 60s. I mean, think about now the colors, how bright they are compared to
Oh,
then.
you can change it too, and like on
I
a
know.
computer.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
when this guy told me Ansel Adams was doing the stuff for Polaroid, I'm like, you're out of your mind. He sent me things, go, oh my God, I would have never guessed that. But you don't know. I mean, you take photographers like me. I started shooting in 1958. You can do the math. I've been doing this a long time. I've used all different types of cameras. And I tell people, they go, well, I can shoot with anything. Anything. Because it's not the camera. It's not the pen. It's not the paintbrush. It's not the piano. It's a guy that's sitting there in front of it doing it.
Yeah, you got
I've
it.
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've shot some famous musicians. And I mean, it's not the piano they're playing, the Steinway, believe me. Eric Clapton didn't get good. He's just a great guitarist. I mean, Jeff Beck. I mean, I've seen some of the greatest guitarists in the world. And I was like a young kid. I didn't know. I mean, they were going to be famous. You never think when you're growing up with someone, they're going to be famous. I mean, think
Or
about it. Some of your friends could one day be famous. You don't think about it.
or like you said, you didn't know like the Polaroid and like it now. Yeah.
Polaroid doesn't even exist anymore. I mean, it does, but who uses a Polaroid camera? They use it as a gimmick.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I've been shooting a long time. Then I got into video, but I love nature. So, when you ask me I love nature because it's totally unexpected and I can make magic
So
that people will never see.
I want to touch up on one last thing as we're hitting
Fire
the time.
away.
We were talking about the awards, but we never like actually touched on it. So you said you won some awards.
Yeah, I've won an Emmy on a series I did on the Holocaust. We did a Survivor that won the lighting called An Interview with George Zeff. George Zeff in the 60s was on Milk the Clown, Soupy Sales, and Bill Kennedy at the movies. So I'm doing the film on the Nazi boxcar, and a guy taps me on the shoulder. And it's George Zeff. He says, I was on that Nazi boxcar. He's telling us about it. I look at him, I go, George, did you teach French in the 60s on TV? He goes, oui. So this is the guy who taught me when I was in third grade French on TV, telling me that he was on this Nazi boxcar. So we did his story. And it's, it's called The Interview with George Zeff. Then another one we won an Emmy on was on the story of the Nazi boxcar. It's called An Interview with Stephen Goldman. And it's the story of why you would put a Nazi boxcar inside a Holocaust center. And I won an Emmy on that. And then I've won 2022, 2023, 2024, some awards for the best of whatever for photography. But, you don't do, like I said to someone, I never shot a film on the Holocaust ever thinking about an award. I just wanted to save the story.
Yeah, you like it. Yeah.
I wanted to save the story of the Nazi boxcar. So kids your age will know about it.
Yep.
You don't know about the Nazi boxcar.
Well, I know about the Nazis.
But you don't know about the boxcar that they loaded people on to take them to the concentration camps.
Oh, yeah, no.
And inside the boxcar on the bottom was chloroform. 1/3 of the people would die on the way there.
I didn't know that, no.
No, I'm saying, but so watch the movie, An Interview with Stephen Goldman. I actually sent it to you, but you didn't watch it. I sent you the other one, which is a George Zeff story.
I'll watch the one this weekend when I got the time to, yeah.
George Zeff story, the soundtrack was done by a guy I met who played with Janis Joplin in Big Brother and a Holding Company. She's famous. When I met this guy, I was shooting a concert, and I told him what I was doing. He said, I want to do the sound for you. And I said, I can't afford it. He said, no, send me the video. Let me look at it. He did it with a violin and a mandolin. In one take. I was like blown away. Came into the studio. He did the train with the violin. You never know in your life the people you're going to meet, like me meeting you years later, 10 years later. Here we are talking to each other again. Okay. You never thought you'd see me again after I left Inclusion Films.
But yeah, that's true. And I never thought I would have a channel blow up. Yeah.
Why would you?
Yeah.
You were learning. You were like a puppy. And I was like a dog trainer, okay?
Yeah. All right. Well,
but the best part is I'm still friends with you. Yeah. I'm friends with other guys who are in the class. You guys are doing great. I'm proud of y'all. Because I walked in. You don't know. Some of the guys you went to school with will never do it. But you know what? It was a great experience for them. Mm-hmm. And you had lit a fire under your ass. Now look at you. Now look at you now. 10 years ago, you never saw yourself doing this.
Nope.
You didn't even care.
Yeah. And now going to school and all that too.
Well, yeah. Now I look at you and your buddies, some of the other ones I still talk to, and I'm so proud of them. I was like, you never know. Yeah. Life is short.
We're at that time. Is there any final words you want to say, promote anything?
No, I've got, people can go to my website. They can find me on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. If they want to see my movies, they're all available for free, which means if you don't like them, you get the money back guarantee. But no, I just shoot. I'm not looking to sell anything. I've been doing this a long time. And like I said, basically, I just want to leave everything behind so people can see what I saw.
Well, now you got another platform.
Yeah. I've got my YouTube channel. You got your YouTube channel. I got Instagram, Facebook, and if something happens to me, everything's on a hard drive and in the cloud.
Right, so, yeah. Thanks for coming on.
What other questions you want to know? Anything else you had?
That was pretty much it. We're at the 20-minute mark.
All right. If you think of anything else, we'll do another interview.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's great seeing you. And I wish you nothing but success in the future. I'm really proud of you.
I just want to shout out an amazing channel, James the Sheriff Dixon. Oh, he's such a great guy, and he is super cool for coming to the show. I'm glad I got to meet him in person, and you should subscribe.